Yeah.
So, some good news.
I don't know if I can now. I'm scared.
When things are wrong, I'll be right.
Welcome back, comrades. Yes. A hot head, a hot head. I don't speak Russian.
You don't?
I mean,
Give it a couple months.
I don't know how to pronounce upside down R.
I don't know.
You probably got to drink a little vodka to have it really start making sense.
Probably.
If you're just joining us on this one, this is part 2.
Yes. In the last one, we went over the 45 points of the communist takeover.
Which we weren't originally planning on doing, but
we did.
we did.
And it was terrifying.
We did that because we talked about Karl Marx's 10 planks to seize power and destroy freedom. Which naturally, from there, you have to talk about the 45 points the communists take over the United States. And, you know, we branched into all that because of what we're about to talk about. And also before that, we talked about, hold on. We talked about,
Are you looking
we talked
at
about,
what we actually talked about?
And Barack knows that we are going to have to make sacrifices. We are going to have to change our conversation. We're going to have to change our traditions, our history. We're going to have to move into a different place. As a nation to provide the kind of future that we all want desperately for our children.
Yeah. We that's why we started doing oh, well, that's what started us off. Why we started doing all this? Why? Oh, why? Oh, why? Why, Mike? Why?
I don't even know anymore.
I don't even know. You
I'm
should
so
know.
broken right now.
You should know.
Well, everything going on with Black Lives Matter, all these riots, everything. It's these. I mean, it sounds like a conspiracy theory. It really does.
Yep. Unless you read the 45 points. And
realize that there's only one of them
10.
that hasn't happened yet?
And the 10 planks.
Right.
And then you realize maybe something is going on. Maybe.
Maybe. Possibly something is going on.
So, all of these, quote, protests. I can't do air quotes hard enough.
Quote, protest, unquote.
Riots. They're riots. They're riots.
Hey, there are some peaceful protests. There have been a couple that have happened. There are also a lot of riots. You're right.
The riots. We're talking
specifically about the riots.
The riots.
Yes.
Because a protest doesn't destroy things. A protest promotes things.
Right.
So everyone did their due diligence to show support for the protesters of changing their Facebook profiles and whatever to black squares in solidarity, because that's what you do. I'm helping.
If those kids could read, they'd be really mad right now. Wait, different meme. My bad. Don't mix your memes.
I mean, that one probably fit with the first part more so. They'd be really upset. So I had issue with all this at the beginning as soon as Black Lives Matter showed up. What do you mean, Black Lives Matter? You don't think Black Lives Matter? No, I think Black Lives matter. I think Black lives do matter just as much as any other life. I believe we're all created equal. I wonder if you've seen that before. And endowed.
All men have been created equal and endowed by their creator with certain unalienable rights. Is that how it goes?
How what goes?
There was the thing that we were just talking. You know
the
the
thing.
thing.
Thanks, Uncle Joe. That went a lot better than I thought it would. That was great.
The thing.
If you don't know, there is a difference between people that say Black Lives Matter and the organization that
Black
is
Lives Matter.
Black Lives Matter.
Quite a bit of difference, actually.
Yeah. Black Lives Matter is a 401c3 organization, tax exempt, blah, 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 charity,
And
blah,
to
blah.
any of my friends that have wondered why I do not use the hashtag Black Lives Matter, why I do not say Black Lives Matter, why I do not do the black square thing that they set up, or any of those things, it's because I disagree with the organization. Not that I disagree that Black Lives Matter, because they do, but I disagree with the organization as an organization.
Well, they
and
were
other things that
they were
stand
set
for.
up to help Black lives, so you don't like Black lives.
No, that's not the only thing they were set up for, and I disagree with the other things they were set up for. So I don't support things that I don't support.
Yeah,
Wait.
but but you don't like Hitler, but you drive on the autobahn.
Oh, yes. Yeah, okay.
We don't have autobahns. We have a freeway.
We have a freeway.
It's autobahn.
Yeah, sure.
Ish.
Okay.
And,
But I support freeways. I don't support burning Jews.
and you don't, and you of course never seek any medical attention or
No.
get any
no.
medicine
Okay,
from-
fine. You win. You win. You win. Whatever.
If we're gonna cancel things, let's cancel all that stuff because you can't separate good
No,
from bad. At
but
all.
I can agree with the good portions of something and disagree with other portions of something.
and not
And
support the
because
cause that
because
does
the
bad things.
organization encompasses all of those things, I support certain causes, certain aspects, but not the organization. Does that make sense?
To me, yes.
Like I support the freeway, and the freeway doesn't mean I support Nazi Germany. Yeah. So
How can one do? Okay, we'll get sidetracked into that. Whatever. So
Parler is now trending in the United States too
good.
on Twitter.
Switch. Do it.
I already did.
Do it.
I already did.
Do it.
I just need to bring our page over.
Yeah, I started creating an account while I was in the loo.
Did
at
you?
work? Yeah,
I actually like it quite a bit better than Twitter already.
I haven't really used it, but I probably will because I hate the other platforms.
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah.
Anyway,
so the organization.
let's
Black
get
Lives
to it.
Matter. It's important with any organization and any country to understand the founders of said organization or country. Would you agree?
I would agree.
You would agree.
I would agree.
Because in general, that gives you a direction of where they're trying to go with said organization or country. So one of the founders, which one did I click on? I don't know which one I clicked on.
The trained one?
Yeah, the trained one. I can't remember her name now.
Was it Patrice?
I think it's Patrice. That sounds
Patrice
right. I think both of them actually are
Cole
her.
something?
I think both of them are Patrice.
Oh, well. Okay.
So, yeah. Anyway. So, people have started digging into the history of Black Lives Matter organization. That was pretty much founded at the time of Trayvon Martin. We covered this before. That's when the organization started.
Patrice Cullors.
Thank
That's
you.
the one.
That's when the organization started because, justice for Trayvon and all that stuff, and white people are bad, even though Trayvon's killer was Hispanic and he was protecting his own life from a man who was trying to kill him. So that should be a red flag for some people. But maybe you don't believe that story. Whatever.
Neither here nor there.
Here's Patrice talking. I got too many mice. I have 2 mice, and it's one too many. Here is Miss Patrice talking about what they're trained in, who they are, whatever stuff. Yeah.
I think of a lot of things. The first thing I think is that we actually do have an ideological frame. Myself and Alicia in particular are trained organizers. We are trained Marxists. We are super versed on sort of ideological theories. And I think that...
They're trained Marxists? Huh.
But what does it mean to be a trained Marxist? Let's. I mean,
it certainly couldn't mean that you know of and have been tutored by Marx's works. Certainly couldn't mean that, which is to destroy any form of freedom. Couldn't be anything to do with that.
no, nothing.
Yeah,
nothing at all.
so that's why we spent all of an hour covering the drop of water that is Marxism, or drop of water of Marxism.
The drop of water of Marxism that we managed to get to. Yeah, took us an hour to cover.
Took us an hour to cover a drop in a very large bucket.
It's a very tall glass of water.
So that's interesting. It's very interesting, Ivan. I can't say that without saying. All right, that's a thing. I can't explain it. I can't. It's an inside joke of another podcast I listen to. That's of a radio broadcast that Alec Baldwin did that nobody listened to.
So
there's that. So they're trained Marxists. Huh.
Oh, okay.
And then just a couple of days ago. So there's another red flag for me because communist stuff, Marxism, and Black Lives Matter, their original goal statement at the time of Trayvon Martin looked kind of similar to the manifesto of the Communist Party. It is now since changed where they still want to destroy the family. Good thing that wasn't one of the 45 things we covered.
Oh, no, not at all. I mean, I wonder how it would look if you held their, about them thing up next to the 10.
Well, we did cover that last time. Not last time, but before.
No, we covered that a little while ago, yeah.
There's a couple days ago was Juneteenth. And something funny with that the media got upset about is Donald Trump tweeted out, "I made Juneteenth famous." And everyone's, no, it's been around for a long time. Well, technically he did make it famous because he was going to have a rally on June 19th. And they thought, hey, maybe given the circumstances, you probably shouldn't do that because racism and stuff. And so that made it trend. Like, everyone needs, what's this Juneteenth thing? Yeah, Juneteenth. Yeah, you shouldn't because it's Juneteenth. What's Juneteenth? I don't know what Juneteenth. So he held it the next day. So I would argue that he did make it popular again to the masses in general.
The question is, how many people actually knew what Juneteenth was before that uproar about Juneteenth?
Right. Yeah. So, I believe this was Patrice from Black Lives Matter again. One of the original founders. One of the 3 founders. This was her on CNN talking to, I don't know who this guy is. I don't care. Whatever.
It was one of the CNN anchors.
One of the CNN anchor people, whatever. This is what she had to say. So, this is giving it away if you're watching it. So I've been suspicious about all these protests, rallies, riots, and everything. When they started destroying monuments to things, and when they started
fulfilling the 45 points of the...
Not even that, because I wasn't thinking about that until a couple of days ago.
Oh, okay. I was just saying, until we just read through it and realized that half of the points are being carried out by
finding the 10 planks
BLM riots
was initially my remembering the 45. And,
yes.
But no, what made me... I remember. So what made me start questioning their motives was the officer that killed George Floyd was charged with murder and all that stuff. And the riots got stronger because justice wasn't being served or whatever. It's like, oh, wait, because everyone was on board, including Donald Trump. So I was like, no, hold on. What?
Took the one moment in the last several years that everyone has agreed on anything.
And it got worse.
And threw it away.
Yeah. So I was suspicious of, well, obviously this is not their goal anymore. And especially after they started tearing down statues of people that were so racist. Like tearing down a statue of Columbus, which, you know, his history is hard to determine for sure exactly what his stance was on either thing. But you tear that statue down because racism and all that stuff in a park named after an actual KKK member, but you don't demand that the park's name be changed.
Right.
But so Patrice was nice enough to actually tell us the goal
Of everything?
of everything, including Black Lives Matter.
Oh, I'm excited. Let's hear it.
Yeah.
What is it?
Heard a lot of criticism of former Vice President Joe Biden from civil rights activists. The election obviously will be a choice.
Mm-hmm.
How do you think Biden matches up compared to President Trump when it comes to these issues that are important to you?
Well, hands down, Trump not only needs to not be in office in November, but he should resign now. Trump needs to be out of office. He is not fit for office. And so what we are going to push for is a move to get Trump out, while we're also going to continue to push and pressure Vice President Joe Biden around his policies and relationship to policing and criminalization. That's going to be important, but our goal is to get Trump out.
Patrice Cullors, thank you so much for joining us on this important day, and happy Juneteenth.
Great follow-up
again to you.
there, CNN.
As
Great
we
follow-up
up
to
next,
that.
one of the police officers heard a lot of
Freaking commie. The goal is to, Trump just needs to not be there. He just needs to not. Could he not? Huh. So let me get this straight. 2016, Trump's elected to office. Hour one after votes are tallied, Trump stole the election. Day 7 after votes are tallied, Trump is a Russia puppet, and Russia helped him win the election.
Okay.
Impeachment process starts to get him out of office. Impeachment fails. Other accusations come out. Accusations fail. More impeachment threats and accusations come out. Fail. 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 Coronavirus. Shut everything down. Destroy the economy. Not at all one of the 10 points of anything or 45 communist points.
Well, it was one of the points of the ex-KGB Canadian,
Right.
though.
Right.
I believe it was his chaos point. It was step 2.
We'll have to find that.
We will have to find that. I can find that.
We'll have to find that and at least put it in the description if we don't actually cover it.
Oh, hey, look at that. I found it.
Hey, look at that. There it is. So coronavirus, that didn't work because Donald Trump, being the totalitarian dictator that he's been portrayed to be, deferred to the states to handle it, almost as if there was some sort of governing document that said that's how it should be. Huh. That didn't work. Now all the governors that are Democrats are in hot water because they didn't handle it well. Huh. Well, yeah. Yeah, Trump is super racist because he hasn't done anything to help race. So, Donald Trump's racist. Let's throw some riots and protests because we have a racist president in an extremely racist country that was the first to really get rid of slavery as a whole, and the first country to, well, not the first country, but elected a black president twice. Extremely super racist against black people. Mike's got a look of, did he just say something that
Well, I mean, we might not have been the first to elect a black president because, there are other countries that don't really have white people. But
right, which is why I step back on that one.
But yeah. No, that's pretty much it.
That's
Yep.
that's it.
That's it.
All right. Yeah, so extremely racist, and Donald Trump, did nothing to help the black communities besides the whole lowest unemployment stuff, which was destroyed with coronavirus. So let's throw some riots, and Donald Trump will surely stop people from rioting. Any time now, he'll step out, send in the troops. There. See, he did it when the protesters were attacking the White House. He sent out the troops.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, when they were attacking
when they were
attacking his home.
Yes.
That's when armed forces came out. Okay.
The funny thing is, he probably didn't even order that. It was probably just an immediate response by the Secret Service.
I think
stuff.
what a lot of people don't know is the area around Capitol Washington D.C. It's basically a no-fly zone. Mm-hmm. There's a very specific path airplanes have to follow if they're not military. If they deviate off that path, they got 1, maybe 2 warnings, and they're out of the air. Mm-hmm. The area around the White House, the Capitol building, and all that important buildings in D.C. have probably the highest security of anywhere in the United States. And just trying to touch the fence of these things makes people go on alert.
Why don't they just electrify the fence? That'd be so much funnier. I mean, so much more...
It would be a deterrent, yes.
Efficient. That's the word I was going. Efficient. If we were going for efficiency, not comedy.
Yeah. And
well, I mean, it still would be really funny.
Just was it today or yesterday? The mayor of Seattle finally broke. A couple weeks ago, she was saying that Chaz would probably be the summer of love, and they'd all sing "Kumbaya" and all this stuff.
The summer of love.
Now she's saying we need to have the police take that back over.
We talked about this a
people are
little in
dying.
part 1. Yeah. Send the police in.
Yeah,
I still think the police there should be like, no, you go in.
you go in.
You go do it. We'll follow you.
Yeah,
You go talk to him.
we'll be right behind you.
Right
behind.
And we'll be there in case it gets, or for when it gets ugly.
I'm willing to bet. I'd be willing to put money on herself and other cowardice mayors and governors. And yes, they are cowards.
Yep.
They are cowards. Because there are laws that they are supposed to protect. They've taken oaths to defend and uphold, and they're not.
At all.
They're cowards, bending to the will of the mob. Democracy is a mob.
That's why we live in a republic.
Thank heavens. But yeah, so
To the republic for which it stands.
I'm willing to bet that she was banking on Donald Trump being the totalitarian dictator that he is and sending in the troops to clear out Chaz, because
How good would that look as a news
that image would be great for the Democrats come election season, which we are actually in, believe it or not. That's still happening in the background.
Is it an election season?
That pot's
already?
been a simmering.
I mean, you know, they had to whip something up to keep the focus off of Joe Biden.
So yeah.
The best thing that man has given us all year is the new nickname for President Tweety. And I'm pretty sure he probably stole that from one of
He
his
probably did. Because
his people.
and he stole it from a terrible person, because if it was a true person of the internet, it would have been Tweety McTweetface.
Oh gosh.
See?
We got it. Okay, we're changing it. It's now Tweety McTweetface.
President Tweety McTweetface. Because that's what the internet does.
Tweety
That's how the internet
McTweetface.
names things. True internet aficionados. So yeah, so the goal of Black Lives Matter is to remove Donald Trump. How?
Well,
would-
one of their goals.
One of their goals.
It can't be all of them.
No, but it's important enough that that's about all she talked about,
That
and
was pretty much all she talked about.
there was no follow up from CNN to see what exactly she meant by saying getting rid of Donald Trump was their goal. But how? How in the world would Black Lives Matter get rid of Donald Trump? They are but a humble 401c3 organization,
Well, I mean,
charitable
riots, assassination,
all this stuff.
I mean, I'm not going to go into assassination.
Retract that. Just
Retract that statement.
so we're going to take a break because we need to get better at doing that.
We do need to get better at doing that, so let's do that.
We're going to take a break and we'll come back and see how they're going to do that.
Here we go. Break time.
And we're back.
Just wait for the piano and then turn it off.
Wait for the piano.
The piano.
So I went down a rabbit hole,
Yeah.
a big one.
Just a little bit of one.
So big that I do not have the time to keep digging through it.
I love how you, like, when you sent me the show prep for this, you just had this one marked as rabbit hole, and then the link was just the link to Black Lives Matter's
yeah,
website.
if you're watching,
Was it?
we got the Black Lives Matter
He's got
homepage on there.
he
This
sends
is where
it
the
as a
whole starts.
hyperlink in my email. It says it literally says rabbit hole, and I click it, and it just brings up the main homepage for Black Lives Matter. Like, okay.
It's a rabbit hole.
A
And
rabbit hole, huh? You want me to read the entire webpage? Is that
So what
I'm
am I
supposed to
looking
do?
for? What-
Is that what I'm supposed to do for the
What-
study for this?
What am I looking for? Close that. What? Is it one of their headlines that you didn't link properly? No. I'm going to show you step by step how to climb.
So then
through
I
this
started
rabbit
going
hole.
through and just highlighting every time they say comrade. Was that not what I was supposed to do? There's a number of times. Anyway, moving on.
I mean, I'm interested. Go on.
No, that was pretty much it.
That's as far as you went?
That's as far as I went.
You started.
I started it. Didn't have time to finish it, but I started it.
Oh, I can think of one off the top of my head.
Only one?
Only one. That's all you need.
I mean, she did say they were Marxist trained, so, you know.
But yeah, it's this rabbit hole is all right here. It's an open book, really. It's an open book.
Amo, you magnificent bastard, I read your book!
Open book. Every time I play that, Mike looks over at the soundboard. I didn't push a button.
It's like, I have the sound bites. And then I'm like, I didn't push the sound bite. Where is this coming?
Looking up at the TV. It's not up there.
I did something bad. I'm sorry.
That's my favorite right now.
all
My
right.
favorite soundbite, and it's mine to play at Mike's displeasure.
Oh, I love the sound bite. It's just startles me every time
Tortures
because
them
there's
each
no
time.
warning and suddenly there's noise.
All right. So, you go to Black Lives Matter. So, this all started because I was listening to this podcast where they were talking about Black Lives Matter and this rabbit hole that I dove into because of it.
Oh, you mean that they're funded by George Soros and, you know, Democratic candidates and all that stuff, or?
Actually, no.
Oh, not
No.
that rabbit hole. Okay.
Not that rabbit hole. Well, technically they are funded by this. But where do those funds go?
Oh, it's where they go.
Where do
That's
they
okay.
go?
So is
So-
we're following money now? Is that what's going on?
Following money, because nobody listens to data, facts, history. Pfft, who needs that?
I'm so glad that you smacked your mic. That was so fun to watch.
Okay. Oh, did it remind you that you're supposed to do something?
Yes, it did.
Cool. All right. Well, my face is about to get whacked.
Something I haven't done in a long time.
It's been too long.
It's been too long.
Just get
I'm
that
sure your
prepped over there.
face, Mrs. What the? I don't know how I'm gonna do this anymore.
Yeah. That's the hell that you made for yourself. You hit my headphone. Missed the face, got my headphone.
Yeah, I'm sure it grazed your cheek on the way back.
It did not touch my cheek at all. That was all headphone.
I'm gonna have to watch the body cam footage for that. And
Oh, it'll be there.
See
It'll
how-
zoom in. I'll zoom it.
zoom in, slow it down, slow motion.
Throw in some special effects. So this
Small
podcast I was
explosion.
listening to, the guy said that he was looking at a Reddit forum where the Black Lives Matter founders were on there answering questions. And they were answering pretty much every question that came up on the Reddit. And then someone pointed out that Black Lives Matter has received, I don't even remember, however many millions of dollars in the last few weeks because of all this. And they asked, where exactly is that money going? How is it being spent to help the black communities and everything? And that question got skipped in the Q&A. And some other questions filtered in, but then more people noticed that question was skipped, so that question started getting asked more and more and more and more and more, to the point where they shut down the Q&A.
Wonder why they would do that.
Why did they do that? So this person went down a rabbit hole, and they have more resources than I do, and they'll expose all that whenever they're done doing all that, because they're actually paid to do that. We are not paid.
We are not paid.
Dr. Pepper. Sound quality on these mics is fantastic. That's the sound of Dr. Pepper.
Satisfaction.
Satisfaction. So, you're a lay person. You're like, I want to help Black Lives Matter. I don't want to just do the black square. I want to actually help. Cool. You do that. You find Black Lives Matter website. You go to donate. Donate. Takes you to the donation page. Cool. I want to donate this much. Blah, blah, blah. Continue. Contribution rules. Nobody ever reads that. Continue.
Oh, really?
However, let's look at this. Because you probably also didn't notice The website changed.
Secure.actblue.
Secure.actblue. This contribution is made from my own funds, blah, blah, blah. Act Blue Charities is a registered charitable organization, blah, 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 legal stuff. I don't care. Who's Act Blue? What is Act Blue? What is Act Blue? Act Blue is like a general donation fund.
So like GoFundMe.
Ish.
Ah, okay.
Act Blue is a PAC, basically. A political, specifically for political stuff. Interesting.
Why would they be part of a specifically political if their whole purpose is just... Well, I mean, I guess I could see it, I guess I could see it.
All right, there's their website. Act Blue.
Oh, hey, look at that.
They raised a lot of money, $5 billion. Cool. Good for them. They've raised a lot of money. So this Act Blue is the Democrat platform donation thing. Republicans have the same kind of thing. Vote Red.
Act Red? Oh, it's
Vote Red.
Vote Red.
Vote Red.
Okay.
Very similar, the two of them. They basically act as like a third-party source for when you don't really have the means or the organization or whatever to actually organize all these funds that are being brought to you.
Okay.
You can use this as a way to basically like GoFundMe. Like, I want people to donate money to me or to a cause, but I don't know exactly how to handle all that. They help fill that gap, which is fine. Cool. They do that.
It's a necessary... Pause for a second.
Huh? Your
computer froze.
Oh, his computer froze. Which
Like
means
bad.
which means his face froze. You got the mouse flying across the screen weird.
No, the mouse isn't moving at all. Like, whole computer is frozen.
Control Alt Delete. Nothing.
Nadia.
Wow.
Well, that's lovely.
Well, we lost Mike's face,
My face is...
and he can't
I
follow.
mean, that's no great loss.
He can't.
I did manage to find some fine print on Act Blue before I froze. so I
Hey,
can
that's
read
where I
that.
was about to go. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I got their cancellation policy. I got something called redesignation of contributions.
Oh,
some
okay.
disclaimers.
So before you read that, Vote Red has, fine print stuff too, as everything that handles money like this does. You gonna reboot after you read that?
Probably.
And Vote Red says if you donate, so whenever you donate, so if you donate to Black Lives Matter, it goes to Act Blue. And Act Blue, it's earmarked on Act Blue that it belongs to Black Lives Matter. They have to do that for their tax filings and all this stuff. Vote Red's fine print. If the organization it's supposed to go to doesn't claim the funds, Vote Red will continue to contact the organization until they receive the funds or until you ask for a refund of the money.
That's nice of them.
And Vote Red also puts in their stuff, if you're not sure if your funds actually made it or not, you can check FEC filings, the Federal Election Commission, and see if your filings got there, or you can call the place directly and see if they got your donation. Pretty cool.
That's nice.
Act Blue doesn't have that.
No, that's
It
not
doesn't.
what theirs says at all.
So what happens if, say, Black Lives Matter doesn't claim the funds?
Oh, okay. I got that one.
Okay.
I got the answer.
Yeah.
To that. Okay, so it says right here, it says redesignation of contributions. In the event that a campaign or committee, A, fails for 60 days to cash a check from Act Blue, which includes your contribution, after Act Blue makes repeated attempts to work with the campaign to ensure all checks are cashed, or B, affirmatively refuses a contribution earmarked through Act Blue, your contribution will be redesignated as a contribution to Act Blue. So contributions to social welfare organizations, which are similarly not cashed or affirmatively refused, will be kept by Act Blue and used generally to support its social welfare activities. Contributions to charitable organizations which are not cashed or affirmatively refused will go to Act Blue charities.
So
Interesting.
if Black Lives Matter doesn't claim any checks for 60 days,
Then Act Blue gets the sum of those funds to do with as they please. Essentially, is what I read right there.
yeah.
I mean, it does state that they will use that and put it towards their own programs and charities.
A similar program. Yeah, yeah.
Actually, it doesn't even say similar. It
Yeah,
says
so the contributions to social welfare organizations, which are similarly
similarly
will
not
be kept
cashed
by
or
Act and used
affirmatively
generally in
refused
their
is what it
welfare.
says. So
Yeah.
so it says any contributions that they have, regardless of campaign, committee, social welfare, charity, whatever, anything at all that is you sent through them that is not cashed or affirmatively refused will be kept by Act Blue.
Huh.
So anything. So this is if the company refuses or doesn't cash the check, refuses the money, or neither one of those and just doesn't respond at all to Act Blue,
Then they keep
then
it.
Act Blue acquires those funds and uses them as they see fit.
Huh.
The only caveat they give there is it will be used to support social welfare activities, charitable organizations of Act Blue.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
With, whatever processing fees
which
and all
which
that
is,
stuff.
is interesting that they specify social welfare activities, because that is not
That's not politicized at all.
that phrasing right there denotes that it doesn't have to be a charity or a 501c3 or anything like that they donate it to.
Yes.
They could use it as a charitable donation to pretty much any type of activity or any type of
Like if-
organization, campaign,
Like
committee,
say
or,
if
whatever they
certain
want to.
presidential candidate was heavy on supporting social welfare programs, Act Blue could, from what I'm
Theoretically.
seeing, theoretically and legally, donate those social welfare activity funds to that person.
Right. Interesting.
And when I was finding this, something interesting I came across was, of course, Snopes and factcheck.org and those. Because there's some meme going around and screen capture or whatever of mostly on the conservative side saying, your donations to Black Lives Matter goes directly to the DNC, to the Democratic Party.
Right.
And Snopes said, that's false. That's false. It doesn't go directly to that. And technically, they are right. It does not go directly
to that.
to that. So they did their due diligence there. By stopping right there. Anyway,
So they didn't clarify the point that it does
They didn't.
actually go to those things if you don't
they didn't
collect.
they didn't lie when they said it's not true.
Oh.
They just didn't
They just didn't tell
you
the whole truth.
The whole truth.
They omitted, with
'Cause-
a lie of omission.
Because omitting the truth is not the same as
Yeah,
lying.
omitting the truth is not the same as lying. Good point.
Yeah. Anyway,
Very valid. I
while
need to
Mike
reset my
reboots, so then I was like, well, I wonder what
Wonder
who
what's
what's in
wrote the
a
Book
wonder
of Love?
wonder what's in a Wonder Ball. I was wondering, well, where does Act Blue send all their stuff? And seeing as Act Blue is also a 401c3, they have to be very discreet or very open.
501c3.
501. Have I been saying 401? Oh, what did you do? Oh, you rebooted.
I rebooted my computer, which kicked it off of the thing, so you just got to switch it back over.
Switch it back. Do that.
Sorry.
Mess with everything.
Technical difficulties. We are experiencing technical difficulties. We need to make
not switching.
an Apple logo that's got the technical difficulties on it.
There it is. Now I got to
Fixed
make
it.
sure this is doing what it's supposed to do. It is. All right. So this is from opensecrets.org. And
Oh, do I need to clap sync again?
for your face, yes. There you go. Where's my mouse? There we go. Opensecrets.org, and this is another one that Snopes and all them tried to point to as, see, they're not donating to the, this isn't completely accurate, blah, blah, blah.
Right, of course.
If you actually have time to do stuff like this, I don't. But if you do, you can actually make a filing with the IRS. You can request specifically to see 501c3 expenditures, itemized expenditures, because they have to in order to stay tax exempt. They have to prove that they're not making a profit. So here's just some of the expenditures for Act Blue. So, you know, you got your typical rent, utilities, office expenses, $2 million. Sure, they're probably around everywhere. I don't know. Maybe.
Well, I mean, I would assume that they have to rent an office space in every state, and especially the major polling areas and things like that. And so, yeah, I could see that being pretty expensive.
They got a lot of people to cover and all this stuff. And
Right, yeah, exactly.
administrative travel and lodging. Yeah, all right.
okay,
They're kind of up there, but
Consulting? Uh-huh.
yeah. So, a list of just general things. There's contributions. So that's how much they've donated. They've donated $1 billion to
Federal candidate. Wait, what?
There's
Billion
some,
to
there's,
federal candidates?
there's some to committees. There's some to parties.
So,
Oh, yeah, so there's all that. Here's the fundraising fees. So these are, you know, what they've collected from processing some of the stuff right here. This is for the this is so far 2020. So far 2020.
oh, wow, okay.
And then we get down,
Oh, hey, look at that.
look at that.
Top vendors and recipients.
Oh, hold on.
Oh, wait,
before-
no, I'm further
Yeah,
down than you are.
Right here.
15
nearly
million?
$16 million
In salaries, wages, and
salaries,
benefits?
wages, and benefits.
Okay.
Right.
I mean, well,
That
like
may
I
be-
said, you got to staff everybody in all those different places. And
So that made me start thinking, how big is Act Blue?
how big
I
is
don't.
Act Blue?
I don't think I actually put the link in the thing, but Act Blue's employees, from what I could find, is between 51 and 100 employees.
Huh. So,
So if there are 100 employees,
wow, that's...
that's $150,000 in 6 months. Give them the benefit of a doubt. 4 months, if that's the benefit.
divided by... So if they have 100 employees, that's $158,493.66 for each employee.
Average.
Average. Mm-hmm.
Huh.
They have 50. It's twice that.
That's
Which would be $316,987.30.
good thing they're a nonprofit.
Yeah, they're a nonprofit, right?
You gotta send that money somewhere so it's not a profit for the business. You didn't see that coming, did you?
I want to know how many of their. I didn't see that coming. I want to know how many, like how much their employees actually make. Because I mean, if I was working for Act Blue and I found these numbers, I'd be pissed.
I'd be
if
mad.
I wasn't making
I'd be mad.
6 figures.
Especially since the political group that this most closely associates with is the one that wants everyone to be paid the same.
Right. Oh, right.
Huh. And again, from what I could find, It's between 51 and 100 employees. I could be wrong. They could have 1,000 employees.
Well, that's the reason it gives you a range is because that's one of the tiers.
Right.
For
Right.
it. So if you're 50 or less employees, you're a certain size company, and it's its own tax bracket, its own like everything you got to
Its
do.
own health benefits stuff.
Its own
and
health
everything.
benefits,
Yeah.
all that
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah, yeah.
51 to 100 is another one, and then 100 to 300 or something like that is the next one up. I can't remember.
But that's why I say that, because that's what I'm basing it off of, is I found a thing that referenced that for Act Blue. So, yeah, so that's fun. So then we go down to...
so, but you got this big thing right there
Uh-huh.
that's... what does it mean, unclassifiable?
Well, you can't classify what that expenditure is.
Huh.
Yeah.
What counts as unclassifiable?
Unclassifiable supplies and equipment.
I mean, I get that one, and consulting and printing and shipping data, but those tags actually make it classified.
I know.
So that's
Unclassified supplies and equipment, was it? I mean,
Interesting.
You're either buying food or you're not.
right. You're either charging, or you either have a consulting fee or you don't. You're either printing and shipping something or you're not.
This whole section doesn't make sense.
That whole section doesn't make. And then there's one that's just unclassifiable. Like what? Okay, what the hell did you buy?
Of the unclassified things
what-
we have, we
what
don't know
you
what that
bought, What you bought is a like. I mean, what is it?
What is it?
Tell me what it is.
Well, we can't classify it.
Well, it can't be classified. Okay. So there's that.
So there's that. And then we get to here.
Oh, hey, look at huh.
Let's see. Well, he dropped out, but Democrat.
Funny how they donated more to Bernie than they did to Biden.
I wonder why. Couldn't have anything to do with what we were talking about.
I wonder which one of
At
those
the
walked
beginning of
away
all
with
this.
more money in their pocket from those deposits too.
Not that.
Couldn't be Bernie. I mean, he's all about distributing that wealth to everybody with his multiple
Yeah,
houses
yeah.
and.
So yeah, so there's that, and then I was like,
So
I
they
wanted-
literally donated to every Democratic presidential candidate.
and the
Right here. Are they
Democratic
all-
National Committee,
Oh yeah, there's that.
Amy McGrath for Senate.
Who's Amy McGrath?
I don't know, but she was running for Senate, and probably the same person right here, Amy for America.
Oh, are you sure that Amy wasn't Klobuchar?
Oh, it could be. I did forget that she was there.
She was also an Amy.
The Democratic Congressional Campaign Committee also got a chunk there. So I wanted to check on this just to be sure, because, open secrets, depending on who you talk to, they could lean this way or that way with how they find things. So I wanted to find where they found this. So where did you find that? And I found it.
Oh, you did?
I did. The Federal Election Commission, the FEC.
Huh.
Yeah.
Well, isn't that interesting?
Yeah, so I don't know if this saved my filters. Did it?
Guessing probably not.
No, it did.
Oh, it did.
Yep.
Okay.
So you go for following along, you go to recipient name, and it sorts it out by recipients.
Gotcha.
And
Okay. Oh, hey, look at
the amount of
that.
money. And look at that. There's the top 10 list that we just saw on the other one.
Oh, hey, and if you go to the next page, it continues on with a bunch of, wow,
Yeah.
Beto for America, Mary Kelly for Senate, Kamala Harris for People.
Stop GOP Governor's PAC.
Huh.
Progressive Turnout Project. Huh.
Tulsi Now.
Yeah. So I was like, okay, well, there's a lot.
I think
in
it's
there.
if you go to the next page again, the very top one is Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. That's it. That's all it says. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. They are just paying her.
Just straight up.
Just straight up.
So then I saw, there's 141,000 entries somewhere in there. 14890. And so, oh, well, that's a lot to search through to try to find Black Lives Matter.
That is a lot to search through.
And I won't bore you with it, but if you go to the links that we'll share, you can look for yourself. But you can filter this data, and it takes you to this thing where you can actually search out recipient names, IDs, blah, blah, blah. If you look up Black Lives Matter, there's 3 of them. 3 different, we're here. We'll just do it. Recipient name or ID. I almost typed on the wrong screen.
Huh, that's funny. One of their recipients is Act Blue.
One of Act Blue's recipients is Act Blue.
Mm-hmm. Act Blue Technical Services.
Oh, good. So
They
they
donated
paid themselves.
$1,273,000 to themselves.
Oh, man. I went back to the unclassifiable. It was close.
Oh,
That was close. Well,
so close.
this is actually 2019 to 2020. So, anyways, so if you look here, Black Lives Matter, there are 3 filings for Black Lives Matter. You can have all 3 of these active in the search.
Matter Pack, and Matter Pack LLC. Huh.
And it will come back with 0 for all 3 of those. 0 recipients on all 3.
Really?
Matter, none. So we'll add another one. Black Lives. For crying out loud. I gotta type the whole thing.
Yes, you do.
Let's see. I did the top one. Matters Pack. Matter Pack LLC. Nope.
You could seriously just pull the laptop closer.
I could. I could also.
I could go get you a wireless
keyboard.
wireless keyboard, and bring it to you if that'll make it better.
It's gonna freak out with the third one. Apparently. There, I removed one that already came up. There we go. 0 results still. Huh. None.
Oh, really?
None. No disbursements to Black Lives Matter.
That doesn't make any sense. I mean, people are donating to Black Lives Matter, right?
Yeah.
It's almost as if Black Lives Matter isn't collecting any of the stuff that's sent to them at all, huh?
And yet somehow they're still getting lots of money. Somehow. Interesting. So that's, and then I had to stop there because I wanted to do search Black Lives Matter's actual expenditure reports and all that stuff. Couldn't find it as easily. Shocking. And that's when I found out about contacting the IRS in various ways to get actual tax expenditure reports and things like that, which I don't have time for nor the patience for.
Yeah, there's that.
So, yeah. So, where's it going? Why is it going? And clearly, Black Lives Matter is not for Black lives, financially speaking. And, yeah.
That's interesting.
What you got?
Don't just this. Just
This.
interesting.
Just this.
Just all of this. You just gestured to all of me.
Great movie.
Fantastic movie. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Dude.
We'll end with some good news.
Oh, do you want to end now, or you want to run that KGB thing real quick? It's like 10 minutes.
All right, whatever. Run.
I don't
We're
know.
long. Run it. Whatever.
You've got it. I sent it to you.
You didn't.
I emailed it. Emailed it. It's yours. Take it.
Inbox. I don't see it.
Refresh, because it's right there. It's from me
Did you send it to
to
the Naked Apple?
Yes, I did.
Oh, probably because it's already opened on yours. So all makes sense now. This guy.
Yes.
Well, you spoke several times
Oh,
before about
hold on.
ideological
Hold on.
subversion.
Hold on.
That is,
Let me put it up.
Let me put it.
well, you spoke several times before about ideological subversion. That is a phrase that I'm afraid some Americans don't fully understand. When the Soviets use the phrase ideological subversion, what do they mean by it?
Ideological subversion is the process which is legitimate.
He sounds absolutely Russian.
That would be because he is absolutely
He
Russian.
sounds absolutely Russian. Yeah.
Yes,
All right.
he's very Russian.
All right. I'll stop.
Overt and open. You can see it with your own eyes. All you have to do, all American mass media has to do, is to unplug their bananas from their ears, open up their eyes, and they can see it. There is no mystery. There is nothing to do
like
with
it's a book.
espionage. I know that espionage intelligence gathering looks more romantic. It sells more deodorants through the advertising, probably. That's why your Hollywood producers are so crazy about James Bond type of thrillers. But in reality, the main emphasis of the KGB is not in the area of intelligence at all. According to my opinion and opinion of many defectors of my caliber, only about 15% of time, money, and manpower is spent on espionage as such. The other 85% is a slow process which we call either ideological subversion or active measures, активные мероприятия in the language of the KGB, or psychological warfare. What it basically means is to change the perception of reality of every American to such an extent that despite of the abundance of information, no one is able to come to sensible conclusions in
That
the
doesn't
interests of
sound like
defending
today at all.
themselves, their families, their community, and their country. It's a great brainwashing process which goes very slow, and it's divided in 4 basic stages. The first one being demoralization. It takes from 15 to 20 years to demoralize a nation. Why that many?
Demoralization.
Huh. Because nobody at all is feeling demoralized.
At all.
Or feeling like they can't defend their history.
Or defend their viewpoint, or stand up for themselves in any way, shape, or form.
Like they can't defend their traditions or their history. Huh.
Years, because this is the minimum number of years which requires to educate one generation of students in the country of your enemy, exposed to the
45 points.
ideology of the enemy. In other words, Marxism-Leninism ideology is being pumped into the soft heads of at least 3 generations of American students,
Yeah, he just
without
covered like
being
3
challenged
or
or
4 points
counterbalanced
right
by
there.
the basic value.
At least.
At least. And statues are being torn down across the country because evil people. They're evil. Statue of Lenin in Seattle? Fine. That can stay. That's so great. Go ahead. Let it stay. That T-shirt of Che? Yeah, that can stay. That's cool.
We got to get on with it.
of Americanism, American patriotism. The result?
You did this.
The result you can
I know
see.
I did this.
Most of the people who graduated in the 60s,
But people need to know.
dropouts or half-baked intellectuals, are now occupying the positions of power in the government, civil service, business, mass media, educational system. You are stuck with them. You cannot get rid of them. They are contaminated. They are programmed to think and react to certain stimuli in a certain pattern. You cannot change their mind, even if you expose them to authentic information, even if you prove that white is white and black is black, you still cannot change the basic perception and the logic of behavior.
Yeah, but
In
they
other
own
words, these
slaves.
people, the process of demoralization is complete and irreversible. To get rid society of these people, you need another 20 or 15 years to educate a new generation of patriotically minded and common sense.
Real quick. I know. You want to be done. Real quick. there's however many hundreds of school districts in the United States.
Mm-hmm.
Not a single one has mentions in their mission statement, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Not a single one of them mentions anything about patriotism, God, anything like that. Food for thought.
People who would be acting in favor and in the interests of the United States society.
And yet these people who've been programmed and, as you say, in place and
Yes.
who are favorable to an opening with the Soviet concept, these are the very people who would be marked for extermination in this country?
Most of them, yes. Simply because the psychological shock when they will see in future what the beautiful society of equality and social justice means in practice, obviously they will revolt. They will be very unhappy, frustrated people. And the Marxist-Leninist regime does not tolerate these people. They will join the links of dissenters, dissidents.
Yeah, because millions didn't die
Unlike in
underneath
present
Stalin.
United States, there will be no place for dissent in future Marxist-Leninist America.
He was open and welcoming.
Here you can get
place for dissent.
popular like Daniel Ellsberg and filthy rich like Jane Fonda for being dissident, for criticizing your Pentagon. In future, these people will be simply squashed like cockroaches. Nobody is going to pay them nothing for their beautiful, noble ideas of equality. This they don't understand, and it will be greatest shock for them, of course. The demoralization process in the United States
Why are you
is
destroying
basically
my house? I'm on
completed
your
already.
side.
For the last 25 years. Actually, it's overfulfilled because demoralization now reaches such areas where previously not even Comrade Andropov and all
are you
his
attacking me? I'm an
experts
ally.
would even
I have a
dream
black
of
square.
such a tremendous success. Most of it is done by
painted black
Americans to
business
Americans,
on my thing.
thanks to lack of moral standards. As I mentioned before, exposure to true information does not matter anymore. A person who was demoralized is unable to assess true information. The facts tell nothing to him. Even if I shower him with information, with authentic proof, with documents, with pictures, even if I take him by force to the Soviet Union and show him concentration camp, he will refuse to believe it until he
Yeah, but I
is going
think
to
that I'm this
receive
gender.
a kick in his fat bottom. When a military boot crashes his then he will understand, but not before that. That's the tragic of the situation of demoralization. So basically America is stuck with demoralization, and unless, even if you start right now, here, this minute, you start educating new generation of American, it will still take you 15 to 20 years to turn the tide of ideological perception of reality back to normalcy and patriotism. The next stage is destabilization.
That was just the first stage.
Subverter
Yeah.
does not care
All of
about your
Stage one.
ideas and the patterns of your consumption. Whether you eat junk food and get fat and flabby, it doesn't matter anymore. This time, and it takes only from 2 to 5 years to destabilize a nation. What matters is essentials: economy, foreign relations, defense systems. And you can see it quite clearly that in some
Crash the
areas,
economy, disarm
in
our
such
defense.
sensitive areas as defense,
Sounds like Obama policy.
Bend over and
economy.
apologize to every country.
The influence of Marxist-Leninist ideas in the United States is absolutely fantastic. I could never believe it 14 years ago when I landed in this part of the world that the process will go that fast. The next stage, of course, is crisis. It may take only up to 6 weeks to bring a country to the
Just
verge
stay
of
inside
crisis.
for a couple
you
weeks.
You can see it in Central America now.
It's still not
And
bad. It's
after
still not gone.
crisis, with
2
a
more
violent
weeks.
change of
Still not gone.
power,
2 more weeks.
structure, and economy, you have so-called the
Riots.
period of normalization. It may last indefinitely. Normalization is a cynical expression borrowed from Soviet
New
propaganda.
normal.
When the Soviet tanks moved into Czechoslovakia in '68, Comrade Brezhnev said, "Now the situation in brotherly Czechoslovakia is normalized." This is what will happen in the United States if you allow all these schmucks to bring the country to crisis,
Bucks.
to promise people all kind of
Yes.
goodies and the paradise on
schmucks.
earth, to destabilize your economy,
isolate that
to
for you.
eliminate the principle of free market competition,
We should
and
have
to
that sound
put
box.
a big brother government
All the
in
schmucks.
Washington, D.C., with benevolent dictators like Walter Mondale, who will promise lots of things, never mind whether the promises are fulfillable or not. He will go to Moscow to kiss the bottoms of new generation of Soviet assassins. Never mind. He will create false illusions that the situation is under control. Situation is not under control. Situation is disgustingly out of control. Most of the American politicians, media, and educational system trains another generation of people who think they are living at a peacetime. False. The United States is in a state of war, undeclared total war against the basic principles and the foundations of this system. Right. And the initiator of this war is not Comrade Andropov, of course. It's the system. However ridiculous it may sound, the world communist system or the world communist conspiracy, whether I scare some people or not, I don't give a hoot. If you are not scared by now, nothing can scare you. But you don't have to be paranoid about it. What actually happens now, that unlike myself, you have literally several years to live on unless the United States wake up. The time bomb is ticking. With every second, the disaster is coming closer and closer. Unlike myself, you will have nowhere to defect to, unless you want to live in Antarctica with penguins. This is it. This is the last country of freedom and possibility.
Okay, so what do we do? What is your recommendation to the American people?
Well, the immediate thing that comes to my mind is, of course, there must be a very strong national effort to educate people in the spirit of real patriotism, number one. Number two, to explain them the real danger of socialist, communist, whatever, welfare state, big brother government. If people will fail to grasp the impending danger of that development, nothing ever can help United States. You may kiss goodbye to your freedom, including freedoms to homosexuals, to prison inmate. All this freedom will vanish, evaporate in 5 seconds, including your precious lives. The second thing, the moment at least part of the United States population is convinced that the danger is real, they have to force their government. And I'm not talking about sending letters, signing petitions, and all this beautiful, noble activity. I'm talking about forcing United States government to stop aiding communism. Because there is no other problem more burning and urgent than to stop the Soviet military-industrial complex from destroying whatever is left of the free world. And it is very easy to do. No credits, no technology, no money, no political or diplomatic recognition, and of course no such idiocy as grain deals to USSR. The Soviet people, 270 millions of Soviets, will be eternally thankful to you if you stop aiding a bunch of murderers who sit now in Kremlin and whom President Reagan respectfully calls government. They do not govern anything, least of all such complexity as the Soviet economy. So two very simple, maybe too simplistic answers or solutions, but nevertheless they are the only solutions. Educate yourself, understand what's going on around you. You are not living at the time of peace. You are in a state of war, and you have precious little time to save yourself.
All right, that's good enough. I turned and looked at my camera, and my face broke my computer. It blue screened and died on me.
Your computer,
dude. There's something I don't even know what the hell's wrong with the damn thing. But there is. I don't even know where to start with all of this.
Well, it's a good thing the USSR doesn't exist anymore, so we can scratch off that second part of funding communism.
Well, but other communist places still. Other
name
communist places.
One.
China.
Name two. Yeah. See. Yeah. Yeah. You couldn't even think of Venezuela or Cuba or anything like that.
But those aren't real communism. They're not real socialism.
Real socialism hasn't been tried. I hate to see it.
Well, actually, in all honesty, real communism has never been tried. The Communist Party of China is actually a socialist state, not a communist state. Because communism burns and crashes before it even begins, usually.
The goal of socialism is communism.
And it has never achieved it. So, here is the thing.
I just wanted to share good news and end it. This guy.
I know, but this is something people need to hear this because it needs to get out here. All of this that we've been talking about, everything that is going on right now, all of the breakdowns in society, all of this bullshit is evil. It's not just bad. It's not just wrong. It is evil. And let me give you the outline of how you tell the difference between whether your opinion is evil and wrong or whether or not it is good and just. And this is the difference. If your belief imposes something by force on someone else, it is evil. Period. There is no but, there is no yeah, and there is nothing else. If you believe that someone should be forced to pay for something for you, to do something for you, to believe the way you believe because you believe it, then you are not only an asshole, you are evil. And I am sick of it. It needs to end. And people need to understand that this isn't a direction we can go. This is a direction that will get people killed. It is a direction that will end in our suffering. It is a direction that has ended in the suffering of millions throughout generations, throughout eons on this damn planet. And it is a war older than this freaking planet, as far as my religion is concerned. In the beginning, the whole purpose of our life was to come to this world, to be able to choose for ourselves, to be able to live a life that we decided on. And anything contrary to that ideal is evil. That's all I've got to say on it. I'm done.
Yeah. Amen.
I'm a little touchy tonight. I'm sorry.
We found the button. We found Mike's button.
It that last little bit just
We found the top of his head. Yeah.
so some good news.
I don't know if I can now. I'm scared.
How do you follow up that rant with a meme? Let's
So
I don't know. Your thoughts.
yes.
Continue.
Yes. The good news I wanted to share. It actually ties into this. Stupid. Everything ties into this.
It's because life is a circle.
So coronavirus, if you didn't know, it still exists. So it started out coronavirus.
You need something harder.
Need something harder. You need the stuff with actual sugar.
I was thinking water, but yeah, sure, whatever.
Water. So at the beginning of coronavirus, we need to stay inside so the hospitals don't get overwhelmed.
Oh yes.
Okay, fine. It's understandable. We don't want to overwhelm the hospitals because then cancer patients, all that stuff, can't get their treatment.
Oh, you mean like they can't right now? Yeah, okay. I'll stop. I'll mute myself. You can just carry on.
So all right, fine, whatever. And then it turned into we need to stay inside a little longer because the death toll. We got to keep people from dying. So, that's when people started saying, I don't know about people die. That's part of life. People die.
Right. Well, and the whole point of quarantine is never to keep people from dying because it doesn't do anything but move when they're going to catch it.
Just pushes the curve over.
Pushes it.
We flatten that curve so it lasts as long as
delaying
possible.
the inevitable.
You want to rip the Band-Aid off, or you want to pull it off as slow as you can. If you're the type of person that just slowly peels that Band-Aid off,
you're a masochist and you should stop.
Thank you. and then country. Thank you, Wilhelm. The country broke out into riots, and all of a sudden, there's no more concerns about virus. It's gone. Then, as I predicted, Donald Trump says, hey, I'm having an in-person rally. Well, what about the coronavirus? People are going to get sick.
Have you heard how many people have caught it since the rally? From the rally?
110,000 people have died.
I know, right? That was like 3 days ago.
And then, along with that, they start reporting on spikes. There's all these coronavirus spikes across the country. Well, yeah, because people were outside, especially protesters and rioters.
Rioting? I don't know. I've never been in a riot, but I assume it involves a little bit of physical contact.
I just saw a thing earlier today. Headline read, study shows that coronavirus did not spread with the riots.
Good news! Congratulations!
Open up Disney World, here I come.
It no longer spreads by physical contact.
Airports wide open,
being
open
close
up
to
the
each
ports. Everyone
doesn't spread it
back
anymore.
to what you were doing. We're good.
Go. Let's do things.
Let's chug along.
I like it. Good news.
Well, hold on. There's this spike in cases. So everyone has to wear their masks. Otherwise, we'll keep getting a bigger spike.
What caused the
in
spike
cases.
in cases?
All these states opening up caused this spike in cases. So we need to restrict you again because there's a spike in cases.
I thought you said this was good news, man.
I did. If you're protesting and rioting,
you're immune.
You're immune.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's not that you don't get it from being outside.
I'm hosting a riot in my backyard. Bring your own meat, and we'll argue and stuff
I think
and throw things
there's
around.
a song about this. It was by 3 Days Grace. Let's start a riot.
They were on it. They were ahead of things. They were ahead of their time.
Let's start a riot. Riot.
They were ahead of their time.
Anyway.
So, yeah. That's your good news.
Oh, okay. Well, that's better than no news, I guess. It's better than no news, too.
Oh, that's other good news is turns out that noose that was in that NASCAR driver's garage. You know that little red thing on the garage door that you pull on? And
you mean the garage door manual rope?
Right. So when it powers out, you can yank on that
and
pull it.
So it wasn't a noose. It was...
Yeah, and it was there last year before he was anywhere close to being assigned that specific garage.
Gotcha. So what you're telling me is no noose is good news?
No noose is good news.
No noose is good news. Well, I'm going to go mark myself safe from nooses in my garage.
Just for today.
just for today.
You never
mark
know
safe
tomorrow.
Today from nooses in my garage. And, well, that's going to wrap up the episode of Naked Apple. It is Tuesday the 23rd, and I'm tired. But on better uplifting note, here's our outtake song.
Takes a video. Yeah, takes it.
My bottles keep getting bigger.
My bottles.